Here with some insights, Lauren Wright. She is a political scientist at Princeton University. Professor Wright, thanks very much for being with us tonight.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing well. So the president doesn't think much of what he calls MAGA Republicans. He says they are semi-fascists. It's pretty unusual to hear name calling coming from the president of the United States, although our previous president engaged in it in a significant way. What do you think about what the president is trying to do by using that terminology?
I mean, so this is a political calculation, and the calculation on the part of Biden is that by separating MAGA Republicans from what he calls conservative or mainstream Republicans, he will not risk alienating supporters because diehard Trump supporters, he thinks, will never vote for him anyway. And to be honest, it's probably a pretty astute calculation. That group will probably not support him under any circumstances. So then you're left with the question of, will this hurt at all? And he's really trying to walk that middle ground of not turning off any voters while drawing attention to a message that a lot of people are talking about right now.
But isn't it the case in political advertising, for instance, that you don't win elections just by putting down your opponent? You win elections by saying what you're for and outlining a positive agenda. It seems like he's not doing that here.
Well, that might be true, but what we also know is that MAGA Republicans or Trump supporters don't represent the majority of Republicans right now. Half of Republicans don't want the former president to run again. Most of them think he acted unethically on January 6th, and Ron DeSantis has either overtaken him in most head-to-head matchups or is very close to that. And so there is evidence that this is a low-risk strategy on Biden's part, however cynical it might be. But like you noted, John, we see that all the time in politics.
The Democratic National Committee senior advisor Cedric Richmond was on one of the morning shows this morning, along with New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. I want to play some of that sound for you because they're talking about this very issue. Listen.
He's drawn a comparison to a party that wants to unite us, a party that's worried about families and what they're dealing with, and a party that's still litigating the 2020 election, the party that's taken away reproductive rights for women, a party that is attacking families and law enforcement and questioning the FBI.
And the fact that the president would go out and just insult half of America, because effectively half America has votes Republican. He's trying to stir up controversy. He's trying to stir up this anti-Republican sentiment right before the election.
What do you think about that particular claim that the president's trying to stir up anti-Republican sentiment?
I mean, it's pretty predictable. You know, political operatives from both sides of the aisle will circle their wagons. They will defend their own people. And, you know, how different is it really than Republicans calling Democrats communists and socialists, which they do pretty often? Or I guess snowflake would be maybe a less extreme version of that. But these types of insults do get thrown back and forth. Is it great for our political discourse? I don't know, but I do think it's common, and I do think it's a low-risk calculation on Biden's part. He's trying to keep attention off of the low approval numbers and the economy, and I think very astutely bring attention back to his very unpopular, very politically divisive predecessor.
He is also trying to apparently win some votes by canceling a significant amount of student debt, but he's not getting widespread support within the Democratic Party. Even Paul Begala, who was a strategist for President Obama, said he thinks it's a bad idea. Your take on why the president's doing it and whether it will be effective in winning him votes?
Well, he's doing it because presidents try to fulfill campaign promises leading into elections. That's a very typical move. I do think that, as you noted, polling shows it's a very divisive issue. And the proof that includes some Democrats who have mixed opinions is that very high-profile Democrats in swing states like Tim Ryan in Ohio have come out against this. They have said it might be inflationary or regressive. They have said that most Americans don't go to college, and so this benefits about 12 to 13% of Americans. And so whether young voters will be excited enough to overcome those sorts of criticism is, I think, an outstanding question. I don't know if Biden will get sort of the bang at the ballot box that he thinks he will. And then there's another issue, which is that this might not even come to be because of the legal challenges. So I do think it's a big question mark.
Lauren Wright, political science professor at Princeton University. Thank you.
Thank you.